Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Meet Your Neighbors.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, today we have the distinct pleasure of talking with Ray Figlewski, a Branford resident for 43 years. So welcome, Ray.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, our pleasure. So Ray, when you first moved to Branford, I know you were an entrepreneur, and you started by opening clothing stores for women.
Right.
And you had one store in Branford?
We had our third store, and best store was Branford.
The best store. Yeah, because a very dear friend of ours said she loved going in there. She loved the style.
Did she go to the Branford store?
The Branford store. And who was the buyer?
You're looking at the buyer. Along with one of my employees. We used to go to New York 3 days a week.
Wow, that's quite exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 times a week. And how many stores did you own, Ray?
We ended up with 8 apparel stores and 4 photo stores.
Wow, all at the same time?
Right in the end of the 80s, early 90s.
Wow, that kept you really hopping.
We were busy then.
You were busy. Yeah. So you were the owner, manager, and buyer.
I was one of the owners, manager, and buyer, and chief cook of bottled water. But we didn't have cell phones, and so we ran the business from once we got to New York.
Wow, incredible work. And then it closed. I know the clothing stores closed. You had 8, you said, altogether?
Yeah.
And they closed in 1991.
91.
Why is that?
They closed because we couldn't compete with Dress Barn and the Limited. Mainly because no longer were people, they were making their own clothes and selling them, and I wasn't big enough to do that.
I get it.
Oh.
You couldn't compete.
There are no more stores like ours. There was a couple in Branford, New Haven. They're all over the country, but there's no chains like ours.
Right, and that's often a skill of business that you have to know when to open and when to close.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. I wish I had that. I wish I knew how to do that.
So that was the demise of the Raymond's clothing, women's clothing.
Yeah,
Right.
1991.
Oh, okay. And the photo labs, I guess.
We started the photo labs. My brother and I opened the first one in 1982.
Okay.
We had, I think, 4 at one time.
Yeah.
And that was until the middle of the 90s, which time when we closed the apparel stores, I took over I bought the photo stores for my brother.
Oh, did you? Okay. Wow.
So the demise of those stores, where the photo labs was from, I guess, the digital photography that came in?
Right. There used to be like maybe 150 or 200 stores just in Connecticut. And within 3 years, there were none, maybe three left.
Yeah, I know. I did it to all of them.
Yeah, everybody's out of business.
Yeah.
So, despite how busy you were, though, with that, all the business and the travel, you also were chairman of the Economic Development Commission, and you were active in Rotary.
Yeah.
And you still are active in Rotary, I think.
No, I'm not as active as I used to be.
Not as active as
I'm not
you
able
used
to go anymore in the mornings. They have early morning meetings, and I'm not able to get up to
Yeah, okay. Becomes as...
The big thing I was doing at that time, I started the road race in 1978. So during all that time, I was running the road race too. We took 1 year off when my daughter was born, 1984.
Wow.
And the road race is still going strong, if not stronger than ever.
That's right.
So I know that you started the road race with, I think, 600 runners?
Something like that.
Something like that. But this year, how many runners were there?
Well, we had runners, walkers, and fun runners. We had about 2,500.
2,500
this year.
What a burst, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
And in 1994, you did you had the concept and you helped raise $100,000 for the creation of a beautiful spot at Branford Point.
Yes.
called Harborview 350.
Exactly.
Harborview 350.
It's
yeah.
so
The
pretty.
350th anniversary of the town.
The founding of the town.
What motivated that creation, Ray?
I was asked to be on the committee, and I said yes, and we just started talking. And Betsy Crone and myself were the two who put the whole thing together, basically. And with Tony Terry was the architect, and Unc DeRoss, former first selectman, did the stone.
So
okay.
we have footage of that site,
I do.
that location, and
Here it is.
yeah, there it is, and it is a beautiful spot. We were out there recently. We met a couple from Guilford who came up there for the first time, and they said, "What a lovely place! It's
Very,
scenically
very beautiful.
and it's very peaceful."
And there are 1,000 names, correct?
1,000 names. It's amazing. I live a couple miles from there, and there's always somebody. I'm amazed at how many people. Everybody goes up there.
Yeah, because it's very beautiful.
Yeah, right. It was a much better idea than I usually come up with.
Well, so that the 1,000 names are people who contributed at least $100 each. The site is just a lovely site.
Well, it was
And
a
the
mess
view.
before.
It was a mess? How so?
It was all rocks, and there was an old building up there. It was just really an eyesore to the town, and when we thought of fixing it up, the Rotary got involved with the planting of the plantings that are up there, and Tony Terry did a beautiful job with the architecture.
Yeah, it's really very, very pretty.
We love that spot.
Yeah, it enhances the whole area.
Yeah, I mean, Branford Point is really a special place because
It is.
it's the entrance to the river, and it's the town beach is there too, which is a beautiful beach.
It is, absolutely. So you talked briefly, Ray, you mentioned about the Branford road race, but you're quite an accomplished athlete all your life.
have been.
You have been.
I used to be.
I used to run marathons,
Yeah, I did.
played football,
Yeah,
baseball,
yeah,
and how about rugby at Boston College?
that's correct.
We found all the things.
Right.
Also, with the onset of Parkinson's, though, I wonder how active are you now? Do you do much exercise?
I try to exercise every day, although I must say I don't make it every day. My intention is to do it every day.
Wow.
My level of exercise, well, I am 71, but still, I used to run a marathon at a pace of about 6:40 mile.
Wow.
And I can't run 100 yards that fast anymore, which is a pretty dramatic decline. But I try to go out and do 3 miles walking and running when I
That's
go
3
out.
miles.
3 miles? That's fabulous. I mean,
For a
lot
guy
of,
who used to say, I don't know how I feel till I'm out 4 miles,
wow.
it's not, but it's still something.
We have one of our sons is a runner, so he would understand. But to me, as a non-runner, I think that's amazing. And I mean, with Parkinson's, your movement, your balance is affected.
Absolutely.
So when you're running, because you told us at one
Well,
point that you sometimes you fall.
You fall down
I
a lot.
do. I fall down a lot. It's
You
kind
do.
of odd the way it is. I don't know how you say it, but you lose your sense of balance.
Yes.
So I fall out, but when I run, I don't fall down.
Wow.
I trip over things. At the gym, I run on the treadmill at the gym, and I have to hang on. I can't run very well at the gym because I have to hang on all the time. When I run outside, I don't hang on. My eyes close once in a while when I'm running, and I trip over things at the track, like the chairs or something.
So the thing is, though, that you refuse to let Parkinson's disease define you and dictate
your life.
the terms of your life. Yeah, that's right.
When you say it, that's probably true, but it's not the way it happened. I just always I ran my whole life from when I was 25 years old until I was, 60 or something, or till now. And it's just what I do. Somebody said to me the other day, you took care of yourself and you ate right and you ran all those miles, but you still got sick.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but just to think if I didn't,
Yeah.
if I wasn't still able to do that, I'd be dead.
It's true.
No, there's no question in my mind.
Right, and there's no control experiment to prove that.
That's
but
right.
I happen to think that's probably very true.
It is true, and if it wasn't good, I just died from Parkinson's disease, I would have boom, because it's just so.
But it also doesn't keep you.
You feel it's the
That's
only,
right.
it is the only thing that helps everyone with Parkinson's disease is exercise.
That's right.
And I can tell you right now by how I feel today that I didn't work out yesterday.
And you feel the difference.
Absolutely.
Right, and I think also there's a very strong mind-body connection, and I bet when you're running, you're feeling good.
That's right. No matter how tired I get, when I went running just a week this past Sunday at the Saturday at the Branford track, I ran as hard, 100-yard dash, as hard and as fast as I can, 5 times on top of my other running.
Wow.
And I gotta tell you, I couldn't walk because I was so tired, but I felt so good afterwards.
Exactly.
It was the best I felt in weeks.
And then the endorphins, right?
Yeah, on top of it, yeah.
Right. So it really helps. But I think it's so admirable because, I mean, I don't know statistics, but I bet you, Ray, that a lot of people who are diagnosed with any disease, and Parkinson especially, where it affects balance and movement, I bet they stop.
I would imagine.
But I got to tell you, if they listen to what the any movement disorder doctor will tell you, that the one thing that helps everybody, nothing helps everybody. No, there's no pill you can take that helps everybody. Exercise helps everybody. Mm-hmm. If you don't exercise, it gets worse faster.
Well, I got to tell you one thing though that I feel personally is that with all that you've done in the past and with all that you're doing now, with this burden to a certain extent, to me, you're my hero. Honestly.
Yeah, we really
I've seen
admire.
you with the race. I've seen you working, and I've seen you get exhausted, and you keep going.
Well, David March, I must say that I don't know if that's true or not, but you guys have been in town, what, 2 or 3 years?
2 years.
Look,
2 and a half.
sitting here, look what a big impact you've made on this town. You should be totally congratulated for that. I'm so appreciative of what you've done already.
Thank you, Ray. That means a lot coming
We're
from
modeling
you.
after you.
Right. So in 2012, I know, and in 2013, you had a deep brain stimulation procedure whereby wires were inserted into your brain and then connected to a device under your shoulder. I know you were diagnosed, first let me backtrack a little bit, in 2006, correct, with Parkinson's?
Correct.
And I wrote, I don't know that I can truly remember, but Parkinson's, I wrote it somewhere, Parkinson's disease, now I just don't find it.
Neurodegenerative.
Yeah, do you want to just
disorder.
Non-curable
where the
neurology.
neurons in the brain are affected.
They don't talk to each other, so they don't. So my body doesn't get the neuron telling it what to do anymore. What DBS, deep brain stimulation, does blocks off the electricity of the ones that are making me shake.
Yes.
It's been life-saving for me, honestly. It really has. Not everybody is. It doesn't work that well on everyone.
No.
For me, it really has. I have every symptom of Parkinson's disease there is. Hopefully, dementia isn't going to be one of them. Well, I'm not so sure about that, though. But I have every symptom. The thing about Parkinson's disease is there are so many symptoms that I have the eyes, which very few get. Nobody can smell. Everybody's constipated. Every time you stand up, you get lightheaded. You fall down a lot. And you don't. You can't talk right. You can't swallow right.
Because of the procedure, or
No.
because of the
disease
I
itself.
thought
The
the
disease.
procedure.
My brain's not talking to my tongue and my mouth, so I swallow funny now. If you ever looked at somebody ever talked to you about how you swallow, what's involved in swallowing, it's a big deal. I mean, I go to a speech, you never know it, I go to a speech pathologist, never nobody listens to me because I don't practice enough. She yells at me. But it's true, and it's becoming a pain in the butt because I can't talk well. It's bothersome.
But if you are mindful and talk slowly or slower, does it help?
It does. It's slower and louder.
And
And if I
louder.
think about what I'm doing, it's better. Thank you.
Good. Good.
You were talking about
Obviously, she couldn't understand what I was saying. She said,
Yes.
slow down, Ray.
I'm understanding you perfectly. But I wanted to just add, in 2006 you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
But I think you got symptoms that something was going awry with your body a year or two before that. What did you sense?
Mid to late 90s.
In the really?
I didn't know it was
Wow.
Parkinson's disease.
No.
But I used to dance, and in maybe 1998, I was at one of my employees' weddings. I said to my wife, "Yeah, I can't dance." I mean, it's weird, but I used to have the field music and the beat and all that. All of a sudden, I couldn't dance. Then I used to play golf when I was a kid. I played a lot. I was decent. All of a sudden, I couldn't hit a golf ball anymore.
The coordination was off? Or you
Yeah,
didn't have the
coordination. Yeah, it's all gone.
And you also, you mentioned that you had a trembling with one of your...
Oh, the way it first started was this
with
thing.
one, just a thumb.
Started to clear. Then I started to know about a year before I got diagnosed that I had it. I kind of knew. So I wasn't like surprised.
Yeah, so
I got
but you didn't know it was Parkinson's.
Yeah, it is. Cause I just,
Later.
When I went, my fingers started shaking. I knew.
You've thought, okay.
Yeah.
So we do have a clip, Ray, because you're very open and generous of heart. I mean, you share the symptoms, you share your victories, you share your limitations with the viewing public because you want them to learn from you, and you share with each other. So we do have a clip of what does happen when you turn off that device.
if you didn't have it.
If I didn't have it, I'd be like that all the time.
So we're going to show it, if that's okay
Sure.
with our audience. Thank you.
Right now, what I've done is I have this is the stimulator is inserted underneath my skin on my left side. This is my way of manipulating the stimulator. This is my little gadget, Medtronics, which is the company that gives to me. What I can do right now is I'm going to shut the stimulator off on this side of my body. And I can feel it going off, and you can see what happens when I do that. Now that's off. Now I'm going to do the other side of my body. I'll shut the other side off also. My lips have started to chatter already. I can feel it. I'm shutting off the right side of my body. It's fairly dramatic what happens to me. I start shaking quite a bit. Hopefully I can calm it down a little bit. But you can see what a dramatic difference it makes to me. My whole body shakes all over my head and my arms and my fingers. Impossible really to function very well this way. Well, right now you can see the full effects of the machine, of the stimulator being off. My hands shake uncontrollably, my head shakes. I really can't walk very well. This is without the stimulator on. And now I'm going to show you what happens when I turn it back on. The right side is going on right now. I can feel the stimulation through the right side of my body. You can see how the right side stops shaking pretty quickly. Now I'm going to do the left side, and you'll see how the left side works also. I know this is fairly rudimentary. This is really a life-changing device. I need to shut this off to go to the left side. Now the left side of my body is being stimulated. I can feel it from my toes right up to my brain. Just feels like almost like just a buzzing kind of a feeling, then it goes away. Now the stimulator is on both sides of my body. You'll notice the difference that I'm like an almost normal human being right now.
Wow, that's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
It's life-changing. It really is.
Oh, unbelievable.
Well, I'd like to go into something else. This summer, you put on a conference.
Yeah.
There were 350 attendees.
And you were there.
Yes,
Yeah,
we were
right.
there.
Helping out.
Yeah.
And you had 12 physicians who were clinicians and researchers, and they presented a lot of information
They did.
for people who were attendees, who were people with Parkinson's, and for others who were their family members, and for us, from the general public who were interested. It was really amazing. And what we learned is that the cure might be in the gut itself.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead,
they're doing stem cell studies, the research in that, and that there were some trials going on right now in Japan.
In Japan, right. But they're saying the gut, a healthy gut is a healthy body, not only for Parkinson, but for many chronic illnesses.
I'm convinced you're probably right. The microbiome, the gut. There's just thousands and thousands of bacteria that are, and many people like myself have been damaged over the years.
Yeah. I think many of us, when we talk around to people, a lot of people say they have a troubled gut. And inflammation seems to be a big problem, too.
Inflammation is the right word, Mark.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they also talked about, David, the Mediterranean diet.
Yep. Mediterranean diet being helpful to the patients, and as well for any of us.
Right.
Mediterranean diet being...
Yeah, they focus on fish, olive oil, olives, and not a bottle, but a glass of red wine.
Fruits and vegetables.
Oh, fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Exercise and
diet.
Socialization.
Connection.
Yeah, that can happen. What can happen to a lot of people is it's very easy not to do anything, to sit home and do nothing. I could go sit on my couch right now and sit there all afternoon.
That's right.
But if you do that, it gets worse. Your disease gets worse because you just have to stay out there all the time. That Parkinson's disease symposium expo, which we had in Wallingford last year.
Yes.
We're getting ready to contract for this year.
Yay.
We're going to do it at the Toyota Oakdale Theater in Wallingford. It's a venue which is much better, because we kind of outgrew that one after the first year.
Good, you're growing.
First 3 years we were in Branford, then Wallingford, now we're in Wallingford again.
Excellent.
Middle of the state.
Excellent.
Do you know that Yale is building a neuroscience facility and spending $100 million on it? And my spoke to them, and they're going to be supportive of our project.
Excellent.
Too. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's
wonderful. So Ray, we know you to be a visionary, and what's your next goal?
My next goal.
Yeah, you said you shared a little bit about a podcast.
Yeah, I have to get somebody to... Maybe you could help me with that. I thought that it would be interesting if I got on maybe once a month for a year and talked about each symptom in the different ways I personally have dealt with it and how it's affected me. is I don't think, like, for instance, who talks about constipation and how people deal with it and what they take for it? I mean, they just don't. I mean, at that conference, if I asked anybody else to raise your hand, 20 people would raise their hand out of 350. I know there's 150 people that have Parkinson's disease that are constipated because it's the first thing that comes.
Yes, we will. We just to mention, we know that you have a very loving family that you call Anne, your wife. Yes, your rock.
Yeah.
You have 2 loving daughters,
yeah.
and you have 2 young grandchildren. And you also talk about Michael J. Fox being a blessing for Parkinson.
He really has. He's doing research that wouldn't be done right now without him.
No, and he's raised over $200,000. So that's 200 million. I mean, that's a big difference. But we're going to get to something that's really exciting, and I know you're very proud of. In May, you did Dancing with the Stars. It was an event to raise money for Parkinson. And I think you told us that you were either first or second, and you got a standing ovation.
One of my more proud moments in my life.
And so we're going to show the clip of you dancing. Can you just explain, though, before we show it, what was the experience like for you? Did it take a lot of preparation?
Well, it sure did. I had no idea when I said yes, I was going to do it in October of the previous year, what it involved. Then I realized in February that it involved like 10 to 15 lessons with a pro.
Wow.
It's Dancing with the Stars, and supposedly I was one of the stars, along with the other stars who were the doctors. I was the only Parkinson's disease patient that was a star that was dancing.
Wow. And how did you prepare for it?
With 10 to 15 lessons with Tanya, and then I would go to the gym every once in a while and practice by myself.
Wow.
It really took me a long time because initially I couldn't remember what the steps, and I couldn't feel the music. So after a while, because I used to love to dance, and so after a while I started to feel the music, and it came out okay. It was a lot of fun. Much more difficult than speaking, though.
More difficult than
much
speaking.
More. Because I had never danced in front of people before.
I know. I'm really anxious to show our viewing audience.
Okay, so let's see that clip.
Yeah. God,
you made Tanya's dancing look good.
Oh my God, did you look dapper? Fantastic.
The last part, the little jump I did, that wasn't in the script.
Loved it.
Thank
Fabulous.
you so much. It was fun.
Ray, all I can say from the bottom of my heart, and I know David echoes it, we love you. You are a phenomenal inspiration.
Yeah.
You live life to your fullest potential, but you keep doing good in our world.
Thank you so much.
You help make our world a better place.
As you do. Thank you. Both of you.
And to our viewing audience, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you found this episode as inspiring, and Ray as inspiring as we do. And please join us next month for another episode of Meet Your Neighbors. And until then, keep dancing.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.